I'm just taking a walk round site this morning. It's a really nice sunny day, a little bit windy, but according to weather forecast we've got about 8 days of sunshine on way, and we've been waiting for that for quite a while. I have had something else on my mind, and if you saw his last video you'll know that I've been thinking about buying a new van. It was a really nice looking I-spec one and it was only 20,000, but I've noticed that all of a sudden there's about 4 vans on site that's popped up for sale, and I think it's that has brought me to make a decision about what I was going to do. Since I put that previous video on about that caravan that were for sale, I got quite a lot of comments, over 300 comments, which obviously I do appreciate, because I always reach out to people that's probably done this before and they might have a bit of good advice for me. So thank you to everybody that commented on that video. And I did notice quite a mixture of opinions as well. There was quite a lot of people that said don't buy it, but there was also quite a lot of people that said go for it. For the price it looks like a really nice van, and it definitely was. But then we had another selection of comments where people were saying, why don't you just keep the van that you've got? We've only had it for less than a year, and of course we've spent quite a lot of money on it, getting it to the standard that we want. So altogether we've probably put around 10 grand into this van, including the price of buying it. So maybe it is a fact that to move on less than a year later and invest in something else before we've even had a decent amount of use out of this one might not be the best decision. This is all paid for a year. So the only thing that was swaying me towards that other van was the fact that it was double glazed, winterized, central heated, it got a bath and a separate lounge to the kitchen. All those little things just sparked interest. But I have finally decided exactly what I'm going to do. And thanks to everybody's involvement, I think I'm making the right decision. I've decided I'm not going to buy it. There were so many different things that people mentioned that could possibly go wrong. We know that the site at the moment is in the process of changing owners. So for the moment, we don't know where that is going to leave us. And as a lot of people did mention, that van was only a 2007, this is a 2004. So not a massive difference in age. And the newer your van is, the longer it can stay on site. On top of that, because this was an off-site van, you've got to pay to have it transported to this one, and that's not cheap. Plus the fact that it's 40 foot long and all the vans on here are around about 37. So maybe it'll take up another part of a plot, and because of that you'll get charged extra, which is quite a big thing when you think about it. You don't want to be paying for nearly 2 plots. Another thing I did forget to mention, we've got double gates as entry to this site, and I didn't even think to measure the width of those gates just to make sure it'd be wide enough, because on my previous video I said this caravan was 13 foot wide, but when I had a second look it's actually 14 foot wide. So something else to consider, because there's only one access to this site to get vans on or off, and if that van's too wide and I don't check, then I've got a bit of a problem. So lots and lots of different things to think about when it comes to selling this van and then buying a more upgraded one that has got more facilities, but it's not that much newer. And that's why I came to that decision. I thought, why put all your eggs in one basket? We could probably get another 4 years out of this van before we have to move site. I did also mention that when I was outside, as this season has started, a couple of vans have come up for sale on site as well. So that's another thing to consider. They're already on site, so I don't have to pay to have anything transported here. You do, however, have to pay a transfer fee, which is 10% of the sale price of any van that you buy. And then all the hassle of reconnecting it, selling this one, and hopefully getting it through that gate to start with. So that is the decision that I've made. And what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of these vans that's appeared on site for sale. So we'll just take a quick look. This is one of the vans that's come up for sale, and it's quite a nice looking one. That's 23,000. but I have heard they're willing to negotiate on price, and it's a very good size as well. I've also been told that this one is up for sale too. And then we've got this one, and this one's 21,900. And of course, you've already seen our van, and I've just started setting up a Caravan container garden again. So they're the vans that's currently for sale, varying prices. The thing is, we don't know the age of those vans either, but we can always give them a ring and find out. For all I know, a couple of these vans that's on site are newer than 2007. What facilities have they got inside? I don't know. I doubt very much if any of them's got a bath, but that's not a big priority to me. It's just nice to have one. But I know that most of the vans on this site are double glazed and central heated. Whether they're fully winterised, I don't know, but you can't have everything. And I think if I want to buy a new van at some point, I am going to sit this one out and then just look in a couple of years' time. Because as quite a few people mentioned, if you just hold on to your money and get a couple more years out of this van, the pot will be a bit bigger, which means I can probably buy a lot newer van, and it might even cost less than the one I've just been looking at. But there is also the fact that I really would like a lodge. Unfortunately, I don't think you'd get a lodge on this site, and they are quite expensive. There's a few that I've looked at that range from 71,000 to 91,000. I think that's a little bit out of my budget. But I know you can buy them second hand as well, and they range between 30 and 40,000. But you still got that massive problem of actually finding somewhere to put it. And a lot of people did mention buying your own land and popping it on there. But there's certain legalities about doing that. You can't just buy a piece of land and then put a caravan on it. You've basically got to get planning permission from council to do that. And it's not a road that I want to go down at the moment. So I'm going to stick with this van and see how we get on with it over the next couple of years. And you've also seen we've got that container garden outside where we grow vegetables all year long. And there's never been any complaints about that. People actually think it's really nice to see. So if you did get another van and it was bigger, we'd be losing quite a bit of space. And also if we decided to buy a van on a different site, there's also a good chance that they won't allow you to do things like that, where this place does. And the site fees are reasonable as well. And I think there might have been a little bit of confusion on that previous video. I did get quite a few messages off people saying, why move to another site, stay where you are. But that's not what we was doing. The place I visited was just caravan sales. It wasn't a site of its own, although I have heard they have got a campsite somewhere else, but they're not open for more than 9 months a year. And I like to have 12 months access to this van. So that's the decision made. I'm going to dig my heels in this van. In a couple of years we can make even more improvements, and we know that everything is bought and paid for, and we ain't got to shell out a huge chunk of money on a van that this place might not be able to accommodate. So once again, thank you so much for everybody that helped towards that decision, and I definitely now know I'm doing the right thing. And maybe when people start to come down, I might get to go in a couple of these other vans that's already on site and just see what they've got to offer. Anyway, thank you so much for being part of the channel. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see what else we do as we go through this season, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. Take care and enjoy that 8 days of sun that's on its way.